Marriage felt like a win. Cute house, steady gig. Her laughter lit up my nights. Then came the twist, a gut punch I never saw coming. Life flipped fast, chaos crept in, and me? Just a guy scrambling to keep up. 4 years into marriage, I thought I had it all figured out. Cute house, decent job, wife who'd scroll baby names with me like it was our nightly Netflix binge. Then the doctor dropped a bomb that blew it all to hell. I'm Jake, by the way, 32, your average IT schlub who fixes servers and pretends I know what cloud computing really means. I lived with Sarah in this fixer-upper near Lake Chemung in Brighton, Michigan. Not the fancy British one. We're just a sleepy town where the biggest excitement is the 4th of July pontoon parade. Our place wasn't much. Creaky hardwood floors that groaned like they were judging us, a porch swing Sarah swore she'd fix someday, and this constant hum of boats drifting across the lake in summer. It wasn't HGTV weather, but it was ours, you know? I'd come home from work, kick off my sneakers, and there'd be Sarah, sprawled on the couch with a glass of cheap Pinot, grinning like she'd just won the lottery. Those were the good days, or at least I thought they were. Back then, we were all about the future. Picture this. It's a random Tuesday night, maybe a year into the marriage, and Sarah's got her laptop propped on her knees, scrolling through some baby boutique site. Jake, look at this. Tiny overalls. Imagine little Oliver waddling around in these. She'd shove the screen in my face and I'd grab a napkin from the coffee table, doodling a half-assed sketch of a crib while she rambled about paint colors. Soft blue for a boy, maybe lavender for a girl. Luna's a cute name, right? She'd say, her eyes all lit up, and I'd nod like a dope, scribbling a stick-figure kid next to the crib. You're on diaper duty, mister, she'd tease, jabbing me in the ribs, and I'd laugh so hard I'd nearly spill my beer. That was us, dreaming big, planning this whole life with kids running around, tearing up the backyard while I pretended to grill like I knew what I was doing. I'd even lean over and kiss her forehead all smug, thinking, yeah, we're that couple, the ones who make it. Spoiler alert, I was an idiot. It's funny how you don't see the cracks until the whole damn wall collapses. We'd been trying for a kid for months. Yep, I'm using air quotes because it sounds less pathetic than saying we were screwing on a schedule. 6 months in, nothing. No plus sign on those stupid sticks Sarah kept stashing in the bathroom trash like I wouldn't notice. I finally said, maybe we should get checked out. She shrugged, muttered, sure, whatever, and off we went to some clinic in Ann Arbor. I'm sitting there in khakis and a wrinkled polo, feeling like a kid waiting for the principal, while this gray-hailed doc flips through charts. He clears his throat, adjusts his glasses, and goes, Mr. Carter, your sperm count's low, really low. Natural conception's a long shot. My gut twists, like I just ate bad tacos, but I force a grin, lean back, and say, guess I'm firing blanks, huh, doc? He doesn't laugh. Sarah's sitting next to me silent, her hand gripping mine a little too tight. I glance over, expecting her to crack some joke, maybe, well, at least we save on condoms. But she's just staring at the floor, lips pressed thin. We'll figure it out, I mumble, more to myself than her, and she nods, barely. The ride home was quiet. Normally, Sarah'd have the radio blasting some pop crap I'd pretend to hate, but that day, it's just the hum of the tires on I-96 and the occasional clink of her bangle bracelets as she fidgeted. I kept stealing looks at her. Hair tucked behind her ear, that little crease in her forehead she got when she was thinking too hard. You okay? I asked, one hand on the wheel, the other hovering like I wasn't sure if I should touch her. She turned, flashed this tight smile that didn't reach her eyes, and said, yeah, Jake, we're fine without kids. Just you and me, right? Her voice was soft, almost convincing, but there was this edge to it, like she was reading a script she didn't believe. I nodded, relief washing over me because, hell, I wanted to believe her. Yeah, just us, I said, squeezing her knee, and she squeezed my hand back quick, then let go to fiddle with her phone. I turned up the heat in the car, told myself she was just processing, that we'd be okay. Classic Jake, Mr. Fix-It, even when the damn thing wasn't broken yet. That night I sprawled on the couch with a beer, staring at the TV while some dumb reality show flickered in the background. Sarah was in the kitchen, banging pots around like she was mad at them. Making soup, she called, but it sounded more like an excuse to stay busy. I yelled back, need help? And she laughed. Nah, I got it. You'd just burn the place down. I chuckled, took a swig, and let it slide. She came out later with 2 bowls of tomato soup, plopped down next to me, and we ate in silence, spoons clinking against ceramic. It wasn't awkward, not exactly, just off. Like we were playing house instead of living it. She finished first, set her bowl on the table, and curled up with her head on my shoulder. "Love you," she mumbled, and I kissed the top of her head, muttering, "Love you too," feeling this warm buzz like everything was still good. But when I glanced down, her eyes were open, fixed on the wall, and I swear I saw her blink hard, like she was fighting something back. I didn't ask. Didn't want to. Just pulled her closer and turned up the volume, drowning out that little voice in my head whispering, "Something's wrong, dumbass." Looking back, that was the peak, right before the slow slide down started. We'd built this life, this rickety little dream, on napkin sketches and late-night giggles, and I thought it was rock solid. Turns out it was more like a Jenga tower, and that doctor's visit yanked out the first block. Sarah's "we're fine" sounded good, sure, but it was the kind of line you say when you're trying to convince yourself more than the other guy. Me, I bought it hook, line, and sinker, because that's what you do when you're in love. Or at least, when you're too scared to see the truth. I figured we'd bounce back, maybe adopt a kid or a dog or something, keep trucking along like the invincible couple I'd bragged about to my buddies over beers. Yeah, I thought we were the ones who'd make it through anything. Funny how life loves to kick you in the teeth and call it a plot twist. Ever notice how the person you love can turn into a stranger overnight? Yeah, Sarah did that, and I just sat there like, nah, she's fine. I'm overreacting. Famous last words. After that doctor's visit, the one where I found out my swimmers were basically on strike, things didn't snap back like I'd hoped. I'd pictured us rallying, maybe cracking open a beer and laughing it off, but instead it was like someone flipped a switch. Sarah didn't say much about it after that car ride home, and I didn't push because, well, I'm Jake King, of pretending everything's cool when it's clearly not. She'd stopped pulling out her laptop to drool over baby stuff, though. No more Oliver this or Luna that. Now it was all Pinterest recipes. Fancy crap like quinoa bowls or some kale salad nonsense she'd bookmark but never make. I'd catch her scrolling, her face lit up by the screen, and I'd lean over, all casual. "What you looking at?" She'd tilt it away, mutter, "Just food ideas." And that was that. One night I tried steering us back to the old days, tossing out, "Hey, what about fostering? Could be cool, right?" She didn't even look up, just snapped, "Can we not?" Like I'd asked her to run a marathon in flip-flops. I blinked, grabbed a Miller Lite from the fridge, and let it drop. Classic me, shrug it off, sip it down, avoid the fight. It wasn't just the kid thing, though. Little jabs started creeping in, sharp enough to sting, but small enough I couldn't call her out without sounding petty. We're sitting on the porch swing one Saturday, the lake breeze cutting through the muggy August air, and she's sipping iced tea, eyeing me over the rim of her glass. "You're letting yourself go, Jake," she says, all matter of fact, like she's telling me the mail's here. I glanced down at my gut. Okay, yeah, maybe I'd packed on a few since the wedding, but I'm no Michelin man. I grin, pat my stomach, and go, "More of me to love, right?" She doesn't laugh, just raises an eyebrow and looks back at the water. Ouch. Then there's dinner a few nights later. Boxed mac and cheese, because neither of us can cook for shit. It's a little burnt, sure, but edible. She stirs it around her plate, sighs, and mutters, "Maybe if you fix stuff around here, we wouldn't be eating this crap." I freeze, fork halfway to my mouth, and force a laugh. "What, you want me to build a 5-star kitchen? I can barely hammer a nail straight." She rolls her eyes, shoves her chair back, and dumps her plate in the sink. I sit there, chewing rubbery noodles, telling myself she's just in a mood. People get snippy, right? No big deal. Life settled into this weird loop after that. Work, TV, bed, repeat. I'd trudge home from the office, my brain fried from rebooting servers all day, and plop on the couch with whatever game was on. Sarah'd be there too, curled up on the other end, scrolling her phone or flipping through some magazine she'd grabbed at the gas station. We'd barely talk, just grunts or pass the remote kind of stuff. One night I catch her staring out the window, the moonlight bouncing off the lake and lighting up her face. She's got this far-off look, like she's a million miles away, and I feel this itch to say something. "You okay?" I ask, keeping it light, casual. She blinks, turns to me and says, "Yeah, just tired," but her voice is flat, like she's reading off a cue card. Her hand's resting on the armrest, and I almost reach for it, but she pulls it back to tuck her hair behind her ear. Long day, she adds, and I nod, muttering, same, even though I know she doesn't care. I don't push, never do. Just crank the volume on the TV and let the commentators drown out the silence. Looking back, I should have seen it, those little moments piling up like crumbs on the counter, but I was too busy playing dumb, hoping it'd fix itself. Then, out of nowhere, she perks up. It's a random Thursday, and I'm sprawled on the couch, halfway through a bag of Doritos, when she bounces in from the kitchen, all smiles. Guess what? I'm going to Florida with the girls next week! She's practically glowing, twirling her hair like a teenager planning spring break. Sun, sand, margaritas. Need a break, babe? I sit up, wiping orange dust on my jeans, and grin. Hell yeah, that sounds awesome. Who's going? She rattles off names. Jen, Kelly, some chick I vaguely remember from a barbecue. And I'm stoked for her. You deserve it, I say, meaning it because she's been so damn moody lately. Maybe a tan and some tequila will snap her out of it. She laughs, plops next to me, and starts rambling about packing. Bikinis, flip-flops, the works. I'm nodding along, picturing her sipping a drink with one of those tiny umbrellas, and I feel this flicker of the old us. Like, maybe we're not totally screwed. Next day, I'm digging through the hall closet, pulling out her suitcase. The beat-up blue one we took to Traverse City for our anniversary. Sunscreen's in here somewhere, I mutter, tossing her a half-empty bottle from last summer. She catches it, smirks, and says, "Thanks, babe. You're the best." Her voice is warm, almost too warm, and I chalk it up to excitement. I lugged the suitcase to the bedroom, feeling like a good husband for once, oblivious to the fact she's packing more than just swimsuits. That week, I'm buzzing a little, happy she's happy, you know? I'd catch her humming while folding clothes, and it's like the Sarah from the napkin doodle days is back. But there's this nagging thing in my gut, quiet at first, like when you think you left the stove on but convince yourself you didn't. She's too chipper, too quick to change the subject when I ask about the trip details. What day you flying out? I say over breakfast, and she waves her spoon, all casual. Oh, Tuesday, early flight. I nod, sipping my coffee. And don't press, why would I? She's my wife, not some suspect I'm grilling. Monday night, she's zipping up that suitcase. And I'm sprawled on the bed, tossing Rusty, our imaginary dog we never got, a tennis ball I found under the dresser. Gonna miss you, I say, half joking, and she leans over, kisses my forehead quick. Miss you too, she says, but her eyes dart to the clock, and she's up again, double-checking her purse. I roll over, stare at the ceiling, and tell myself it's fine, she's just antsy to get going. Famous last words, right? She went from, let's name our kid Luna, to you're a slob, faster than you can say midlife crisis, and me, I just nodded like a dope, too scared to peek under the hood of whatever the hell was breaking down between us. Dropped her at the airport with a kiss and a text me when you land. 12 hours later, I'm calling her friends like a lunatic, and they're like, what trip? Yeah, that's when shit got real. That Tuesday morning started normal, too normal looking back. I was up at dawn, chugging coffee, while Sarah buzzed around the house in flip-flops and this goofy sun hat she dug out of a box somewhere. Gotta look the part for Florida, she said, twirling in front of the mirror, and I laughed, leaning against the counter in my boxers and a faded Pistons tee. You're gonna kill it, babe, I said, handing her a granola bar she'd never eat. She grinned, big, bright, the kind of smile I hadn't seen in months, and slung her purse over her shoulder. Love you! See you soon! She chirped, pecking me on the lips as I hauled that beat-up blue suitcase to the car. Detroit Metro's a haul from Brighton, but I didn't mind the drive. Windows down, Springsteen crooning Born to Run on the radio, me humming along like some cheesy road trip montage. Dropped her at the curb, waved as she disappeared into the terminal, and headed home, feeling smug, like the supportive husband of the year. Should have known life doesn't hand out gold stars that easy. Back at the house, I crashed on the couch with a bag of chips and some coding manual I was supposed to study for work. Nerd stuff, you know. Her flight was due to land around 3 p.m., so I kept my phone on the armrest, waiting for that landed safe text with the little palm tree emoji she loved. 3 rolls by, nothing. 4, still nada. By 5, I'm refreshing the airline site, squinting at on time next to her flight number, and my stomach's doing this weird flip. Maybe she forgot, I mutter, dialing her number, straight to voicemail. Her chipper, hey, it's Sarah, leave a message, mocking me. I shoot a quick text, hey, you good? And wait, picking at the chip crumbs on my shirt. 7 o'clock, no reply. I call again, pacing the living room now, the creaky floors groaning under my socks. Voicemail. All right, Jake, chill, I tell myself, flopping back on the couch. She's probably napping at the hotel or something. But by midnight, I'm a mess, Googling plane crash Florida like a psycho, hard hammering as I scroll past headlines about lost luggage and drunk passengers, none of which explain why my wife's a ghost. I'm gripping my phone so tight my knuckles are white, muttering, "Come on, Sarah, pick up," like she's gonna hear me through the ether. Next morning, I'm bleary-eyed, chugging Red Bull instead of coffee, and I can't shake this gnawing pit in my gut. I call her again. Voicemail, same cheery bullshit. "Hey, it's me," I say, voice cracking a little. "Just let me know you're alive, okay?" No dice. That's when I start dialing the crew she was supposedly with. First up's Jen, her bestie since college. Phone rings twice, then her voice all chipper. "Hey, Jake, what's up?" I'm pacing again, trying to sound normal. "Hey, Sarah land okay?" She's not texting me back. There's this pause, too long, and Jen goes, "Wait, what? Land where?" My chest tightens. "Florida. The girls' trip. You're with her, right?" Another pause, and I hear a coffee shop buzzing in the background. "Dude, I'm at Starbucks in Ann Arbor. There's no trip. What are you talking about?" My legs wobble, and I sink onto the stairs, gripping the railing. She said, "You, Kelly, the whole gang." Sun and margaritas. Jen's voice softens, confused. "Jake, I haven't talked to her in weeks. Kelly's here too. Hold on." I hear muffled chatter, then Kelly's voice cuts in. "Yeah, I'm with Jen. No Florida. You okay?" I mumble something like, "Gotta go," and hang up, hands shaking as I dial Sarah's sister Lisa next. "Hey Lisa, it's Jake." "Sarah with you?" She's groggy, probably just up. "No, why?" "She's at home, right?" I choke out. "She left yesterday, said she was flying south with friends." Lisa's quiet, then, "Shit, Jake, I don't know anything about that." I drop the phone, staring at the wall like it's gonna tell me what the hell's happening. I stumble to our bedroom, some dumb hope she's just punking me, but the closet door's half open, and it hits like a freight train. Her sides gutted. Half her clothes gone. No bikinis, no sundresses, just empty hangers swinging like they're mocking me. I rip open drawers. Underwear, socks, that ratty t-shirt she slept in, all missing. The suitcase wasn't just for a week, it was for good. I stagger back, collapse on the bed, and just sit there, breathing hard, brains spinning like a bad hard drive. She didn't just leave. She planned this. Every "I'm fine," every jab about my gut, every fake smile over that damn suitcase. It was a script, and I was the sucker who didn't read the fine print. I grab a beer from the fridge, pop it open with shaky hands, and slump onto the couch. The same spot where we doodled cribs and dreamed up a life. The TV's still on, some sports recap droning, but I'm replaying every fight, every just tired, every time I let it slide. "She's been checking out for months," I mutter, voice hoarse, "and I didn't see it coming. What a chump." I take a swig, the cold fizz burning my throat, and laugh. Sharp, bitter, the kind that hurts. "Guess I'm single now. Cool, cool." My phone buzzes. Jen texting. "You all right? Call if you need me." But I don't reply. Just sit there, beer sweating in my hand, staring at the empty closet through the doorway. My world's imploding, and all I've got is this shitty IPA and a front row seat to the wreckage. Sarah didn't just ghost me. She pulled a Houdini with a side of "screw you," and I'm the idiot waving at the airport humming Springsteen while she bolted. I tip the bottle back, drain it, and chuck it at the trash can. Missed by a mile. Figures. The lake's quiet outside, no boats, no hum, just this dead silence pressing in. And I'm thinking, she's gone. Really gone. Part of me wants to chase her, demand answers, but my ass stays glued to the cushions, because deep down, I know she didn't trip and fall out of our life. She packed up and walked away. And I'm the guy who didn't even notice the door slamming shut. Took me months to stop staring at my phone like a lost puppy. Then, years later, she shows up with a kid, hers, not mine, and acts like I'm the welcome mat. Nope, not today, Satan. After Sarah pulled her vanishing act, I was a wreck. Full-on train wreck, not just, oops, I spilled my coffee bad. That first week, I camped out on the couch, the same one where I'd found out she'd bailed. surrounded by empty beer cans and takeout boxes. I'd wake up to the TV blaring infomercials, my neck stiff, and just lie there, replaying Jen's "What trip?" like a broken record. Work? Forget it. I called in sick so much my boss left a voicemail. "Jake, you alive? We need you on the server upgrade." I didn't call back. Just stared at the ceiling, wondering how I'd missed the memo that my wife hated me enough to ghost me. Sarah's mom, Linda, showed up one day with a tinfoil pan of lasagna, her eyes all puffy. "I don't know what got into her," she said, setting it on the counter. I shrugged, croaking out, "Yeah, me neither," and she hugged me, awkward mom style, before leaving me to mope with my pity casserole. I ate it cold, straight from the pan, because who gives a shit about plates when your life's a dumpster fire? Therapy was the only thing that drugged me out of that hole. My buddy Mike, golf nut, big mouth, cornered me one night at the bar. "Dude, you smell like a brewery and look like roadkill. Go talk to someone." He slid me a card for this shrink in Ann Arbor, and I went, mostly to shut him up. First session, I'm slouched in this leather chair, staring at a fern, while this lady, Dr. Karen, gray bob, zero bullshit, leans forward and goes, "So, your wife left. How's that feel?" I laugh, bitter as hell, like I got hit by a truck, then it backed up to finish the job. She nods, scribbles something, and says, "She chose, Jake, not you. You can't own that." I didn't buy it at first. Kept rattling off every fight every time I'd let her down, like maybe I'd cracked the code to why she bolted. But after a few weeks, it stuck. I wasn't the asshole here, she was. So I started moving, hit the gym, grunting through push-ups till my arms shook, cooked chili from scratch that didn't suck, even painted the house gray because screw her pastel phase and that Pepto-Bismol pink she'd slapped on the kitchen. Little wins, you know? Piled up slow, but they piled up. Fast forward 2 years, and I'm doing all right. Not great, but decent. Landed a promotion at work. Senior IT guy now, which mostly means more coffee and less swearing at printers. Mike dragged me out golfing every weekend, yelling, "Hole in one, you bastard," while I sliced balls into the woods. Best part? Adopted this scruffy mutt, rusty, part lab, part chaos, from the shelter. He'd chew my sneakers, then flop on my lap like he owned me, and I'd scratch his ears, muttering, "Yeah, you get it, don't you?" Life was quiet, mine again, until that damn doorbell rang one Saturday. I'm in sweats, flipping pancakes for me and Rusty, when I hear it ding-dong, sharp and annoying. Open the door, and there's Sarah, looking like she's been through a blender, hair a mess, bags under her eyes, a toddler squirming on her hip. She's got this nervous smile, says, "Hey Jake, can I come in?" My brain short circuits, but I lean on the frame, arms crossed. "Nah, talk here." Rusty's barking like a lunatic behind me, and I snap, "Quiet, bud," without breaking eye contact. She shifts the kid, big brown eyes, not mine, and starts spilling. I messed up, okay? I left for this guy. He could give me a baby, and I thought. She stops, swallows hard. He bailed after this one came along. "I want us back, Jake, you and me." I stare at her, jaw tight, and then I laugh, loud, sharp, right in her face. "You think I'm your plan B? After you ditched me for some dude with working sperm?" Her eyes well up, and the kid starts fussing, grabbing at her shirt. "It's not like that," she says, voice wobbly. "I realized you're the one I love. We can be a family." I step back, shaking my head, and Rusty's growling now, picking up my vibe. "A family, that's his kid, Sarah, not mine. You don't get to waltz back in like it's a damn rom-com." She's crying now, full-on sobbing, and the kid's wailing too. This chaotic symphony on my porch. "I was wrong, Jake, please." She hiccups. "I need you." I cut her off, voice low. "You needed a sperm donor. You got one. I'm not your fallback." She switches gears, anger flashing through the tears. "I could have taken half this house, you know, divorced you clean and left you with nothing." I smirk, stepping closer. "Yeah? Thanks for the mercy, I guess. Take your kid and your baggage somewhere else." I slam the door, lock it, and lean against it, heart pounding as she bangs. Once, twice, then stops. Her muffled yells fade, something about me being selfish, ungrateful, and I slide to the floor, Rusty licking my hand like he's proud. "Good boy," I mutter, ruffling his fur. My phone buzzes. Mike texting, "Golf at 2. I type back, "Hell yeah," and stand up, brushing off the ghost she dragged in. She thought I'd roll over, play daddy to her mess because she batted her eyes. Turns out I grew a spine. Took 2 years, a shrink, and a dog, but I got there. I flip a pancake onto a plate, toss Rusty a scrap, and crank the radio. Springsteen again, Thunder Road this time. "We're done, Sarah," I say to the empty room, and it feels good, like kicking off wet socks after a storm. She's out there, probably cursing me to whoever'll listen, but I'm in here, eating breakfast with my dog, and for once, I'm not the chump picking up her pieces. That's on her now. Closed the door, heard her yelling, and felt nothing. Well, maybe a little smug. She made her bed. Hope it's lumpy as hell. After I slammed that door on Sarah and her kid, the silence hit different, like the kind you get after a storm rolls out and the lake's all still again. I stood there, back against the wood, Rusty panting at my feet, and just breathed. No panic, no second guessing, just this weird calm washing over me like I'd finally kicked a bad habit. She kept banging for a minute, her voice muffled through the frame. "Jake, you can't do this." And I almost laughed, picturing her out there, hair wild, kids squirming, looking like the hot mess she'd turned into. Rusty tilted his head, gave me this look like, "We good, boss." I scratched his ears, muttered, "Yeah, we're good," and shuffled to the kitchen to finish those pancakes. Her shouts faded, probably stomping off to her car, and I flipped the radio on. Springsteen again, because of course, and Let Glory Days fill the room. Ate standing up, tossing rusty bits of batter, grinning like an idiot because for once, I wasn't the one cleaning up her chaos. Didn't take long for the fallout to trickle in. Couple days later, my phone buzzes while I'm sprawled on the couch, Rusty snoring on my lap. It's Linda, Sarah's mom, texting, "Jake, I'm so sorry about her. I tried talking sense into her. She's lost it." I stare at the screen, thumb hovering, then type back, "Thanks, Linda, not your fault." She sends a sad face emoji, and I toss the phone aside, feeling this pang for her. She's stuck with Sarah now, poor woman. Then Friday hits, and her dad, Tom, calls. Gruff voice cutting through the line while I'm microwaving leftovers. "Hey, Jake, it's Tom. Listen, things are tight over here. The kid needs stuff, diapers, formula. Could you help out, maybe?" I lean on the counter, chili bubbling in the background, and pinch the bridge of my nose. "Tom, man, I feel for you, but that's not my circus, not my monkeys. She made her choice." He sighs, long and heavy. "Yeah, I get it. Just thought I'd ask. Take care, all right?" "You too," I say, hanging up, and shake my head. Guy's got balls asking me to bankroll his daughter's screw-up, but I can't hate him. He's just trying to keep the ship afloat. Word started spreading fast, though. Brighton's small and gossips the local sport. Mike's over Sunday cracking beers on the porch while Rusty chases his tail. "Heard Sarah's crashing with her folks," he says, smirking. "Jobless, too. Baby daddy's long gone. Total shit show." I snort, sipping my Miller Lite. "Yeah? Shocker." He leans back, shades sliding down his nose. "Jen says she's asking around about you, like, is Jake still mad?" I roll my eyes so hard I nearly see my brain. "She thinks I'm gonna cave, play Captain Save-A-Mess? Nah, I'm good." Mike laughs, clinking his bottle against mine. "Attaboy! Let her drown in it." I nod, watching the lake ripple under the afternoon sun, and feel this flicker of something, not glee, just relief. She's couch surfing now, bouncing between her parents' place and whatever friend hasn't ditched her yet, and I'm not lifting a finger. Couple weeks later, Kelly, Jen's sidekick, texts me out of the blue. "Sarah's struggling, Jake. Rough spot. Maybe cut her some slack." I'm at the gym, mid-squat, and nearly dropped the bar, laughing. Text back, "She chose the struggle, Kelly. I'm out." She doesn't reply, and I rack the weights, grinning at my reflection. Sweaty, stronger, done. Life settled into this new groove after that. Quiet but solid. Me and Rusty'd walk by Lake Chemong most evenings, him tugging the leash while I sipped a gas station coffee, watching the water turn gold at sunset. I'd nod at the old guys fishing, toss Rusty a stick, and just exist. No big epiphanies, no Hollywood glow-up, just me, my dog, and a rhythm I could live with. Work was good. Boss slapped me on the back last week, said, "Carter, you're killing it," and I shrugged like it was nothing, but it felt nice. Golf with Mike kept me sane, even if I still sucked. Last Saturday, he's hollering, "You hit the sand again, dumbass," while I flip him off, laughing so hard I nearly trip. Then there's this coffee shop I started hitting, Brew Haven, where the barista, Mia, knows my order. Black, no sugar. Before I open my mouth. She's got this dry grin, says stuff like, Rough day? It, hero? When I roll in looking fried, I'd shoot back, saving the world one reboot at a time, and she'd chuckle, sliding me my cup. No sparks flying, no cheesy flirt fest, just easy chatter, little possibility if I ever feel like chasing it. Life's quiet, I told Rusty one night, sprawled on the floor while he gnawed a bone. I like quiet. He farted in agreement, and I laughed till my sides hurt. Sarah's still out there, floundering. Last I heard, she burned through her folks' patience and landed on some cousin's couch. Mike says she's still fishing for sympathy, whining to anyone who'll listen about how I abandoned her. Jen called once, voice soft. She's hoping you'll come around, Jake, for the kid. I'm grilling burgers in the backyard, Rusty, begging at my feet, and I snort into the phone. That kid's not mine, Jen. Neither's she. Tell her to stop shopping for a redo in my inbox. Jen sighs. Yeah, figured you'd say that, and we hang up, no hard feelings. I flip the patty, crack a beer, and watch the smoke curl up into the dusk. She wanted a reset, thought I'd be the sucker to hand it over because she batted her lashes and cried. I wanted a life. Mine, not hers, and guess who won? I'm not gloating, not really, just living, one burger, one walk, one shitty golf swing at a time. She's out there, drowning in the mess she built, and I'm here, sipping cold ones with my dog, letting the lake hum me to sleep. Sometimes freedom's just a dog, a beer, and a sunset. Turns out, that's enough.